he said. Caiaphas, you can't go to the tomb. You're the high priest. You can't go because if there's a dead body, you're unclean. Excuse me, soldier, please step aside. Jonathan, my attendant. The report had been that he'd been risen from the dead. Why do they put these tombs so low? You would have thought, with 100 Roman soldiers, nothing could have gone wrong. And it certainly doesn't look like there has been any kind of skirmish here whatsoever. Of course, the soldiers weren't bloody at all. It didn't even look like they had drawn their swords. And here's this stone. It doesn't seem like there's any tool marks on this whole stone. They said an angel came and sat on top of it and rolled it away. Angels. 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 I was just a young priest when that old man, Zacharias, he was the priest that was taking care of the altar of incense. He was in there lots longer than he should have ever been. Don't they know we have times that we need to follow? And then he came out and couldn't speak, and he demonstrated to us that he saw an angel. Angels. I'm the high priest. I've never seen an angel. If God's going to show angels, why isn't he showing them to me? Instead of this Jesus of Nazareth. We knew he said he would rise again from the dead. That's why we went. We went to Pilate especially so that Pilate would send his Roman guard down. 100 soldiers. Looking at the crowd that had followed him. That crowd, there's still the remnants of all these palm branches. Just a week ago. What is it with this Jesus of Nazareth in the first day of the week? What is it with him in that first day of the week? He said he was a follower of the law. The last day, the Sabbath day, that's the day we should be gathering. I've never understood this young man. And angels. Angels. Zacharias and his angel. And then those that reported about John the Baptist, saying he had baptized somebody in the River Jordan. And they heard angels speak from heaven. This is my beloved Son, in whom I'm well pleased. They couldn't tell me whether the angel was talking about John the Baptist or whoever get baptized. That's why I'm here. I saw my own temple guard. We sent them to arrest Jesus, and instead of just walking in and doing what they were supposed to do, they listened to him. They came back without him. I said, where is he? They said, never did anybody speak like this man spoke. We couldn't bring him to you. He seemed to have the words of life. I looked up and said, I'm the high priest. I'm the one that has the words of life. I'm the one that has jurisdiction over you. Not this Jesus of Nazareth. Next time I send you out, you better listen. But they didn't. I didn't think he'd have an impression upon these Roman soldiers. And I can't understand. I stayed there at those crosses because I can't be around that dead body as high priest until it looked like there was no hope whatsoever. I stayed there that long. And even if he survived, how could he have the strength to talk to those soldiers? Maybe he trained up one of his disciples. There is that larger set of foot tracks right there, going right into the tomb. Look again. This Jesus of Nazareth has really been a pain. Last year when Annas, who was the high priest that year, said it was important that one man should die for the people, he understood what I understood. He understood that Jesus needed to be killed so that the people wouldn't be drawn astray and that Rome wouldn't remove us from our spot. Now what's going to happen? Now what's going to happen? All these rumors. We went to Pilate and said the worst would be last, worse than the first if he had risen from the dead. We weren't expecting him to rise from the dead. And I can't understand how he could rise from the dead. It looked like he was so near death when I left the cross. And the report that I got from Pilate when the soldiers came this morning, and I had to go to Pilate to intercede for them. I said, Pilate, was he dead? Pilate said he was dead. I've never seen the Romans make a mistake on that before. Obviously something that I can't figure out. He's been a charlatan all along. It's only been 2 weeks since he raised that man Lazarus from the town of Bethany from the dead. I think they put on a great play for us. I think they had devised that whole plan. And then that Lazarus, he gets out of the tomb and he was all bound up and somebody had to loose him and let him go. But I can't figure it out. Inside this tomb is all of the grave clothes. They're all laying there, all of the grave clothes. Oh, I'm not going in. I'm an old man. I don't think I could ever get back out of there if I got in there. Why? Now I have my temple guard all around here so that nobody will come to see. And I'm afraid that they won't be very loyal. One of those disciples who must have been eloquent as this Jesus himself must have talked somebody into letting him come in and take the body, but why would they have unwrapped it? And they didn't unwrap it. It looks like they just kind of slid it out of a cocoon. And there's a headcloth, neatly folded. I don't understand. But I can't let people see this, because they might believe that he has indeed risen from the dead. I can't let people see this, or they might indeed believe that he has risen from the dead. And if they believe that he's risen from the dead, they will become followers of Christ, followers of this Jesus of Nazareth. Yes, he did marvelous things. There's no denying that. But many of us thought that he did those things by the power of Satan himself. And yet he seems so opposed to Satan. He leaves us so confused. And how come I'm not the one that gets to see the angels? They said he was the Messiah. Those angels. They said his mother was visited by one of those angels. She never came to his defense. At the crucifixion, I saw her standing, weeping, shaken, broken. I thought all she needs to do is confess who his real father was, and they would take him down onto the cross. I remember the night before as he was standing there in trial in the judgment hall. And as they were bringing witnesses against him, and the witnesses couldn't get any agreement. So I asked him point blank, "Are you God the Son?" And he looked at me, not with anger, not with hatred, but it literally looked like pity. It angered me. And he said, "Yes, I am." That's when I tore my priestly garments and thought, what blasphemy, saying that his God standing there and angering me so by looking at me with such pity. And they took him out. And they took him out. His mother standing there could have said this was his real father. He's just really crazy. She never spoke up. I think she carried lies with her to his grave too. Although I don't understand her. Because there at the end, instead of being brokenhearted, they seem to have some kind of peace and joy. Yes, as they took him down onto the cross, there was typical remorse and fondling. But there also was a little voice of celebration. Some young disciple saying, "Lord, we don't understand, but we know that you have all things in your hand. Lord, we don't understand, but we know that you have all things in your hand." Such blind faith. In what? And yet, he's not here. Obviously not carried away from the raps. I am well educated. But this I cannot figure out. But I won't allow people to be blinded by it. So the temple guard, on pain of your own death, no one comes near this tomb. Temple guard, on pain of your own death, no one comes near this tomb until I can give an adequate